I thought it was dead tight. I thought you was going to get it, if I'm honest.
I swear to God, I thought I won it by at least 3 rounds. I bossed the fight.
Tyson Fury's journey through his recent rematch with Alexander Usyk has left fans and analysts buzzing with opinions and reflections. From his shock at the judge's decision to his refusal to entertain any talk of retirement, Fury's thoughts have provided significant insight into his mindset, both in the immediate aftermath of the fight and in anticipation of what lies ahead. Fury's belief that he had won the fight is clear. After the bout, he expressed his disappointment at the judge's decision, which he felt was too wide. "I thought I won by at least 3 rounds, Fury stated emphatically, asserting that the scorecards didn't reflect the reality of the fight. Fury, visibly upset, even described the outcome as a Christmas gift for Usyk, a phrase that showed his frustration with the judges. Despite this, he acknowledged that the decision was final, and though disappointed, he expressed no intention of stepping away from the sport. One of the most interesting aspects of his post-fight comments was his rejection of rumors about retirement. Fury made it crystal clear that he has no plans to walk away from boxing. "Definitely not. No way. Not in a million years," he insisted, squashing any speculation about him leaving the sport anytime soon. This statement was accompanied by a reaffirmation of his motivation, as he stated that he was more focused than ever on continuing his career and taking on the best in the heavyweight division. This firm stance on his future shows that despite the setback, Fury is far from being done with the sport. He even discussed the possibility of a trilogy fight with Usyk, one that he believes would end with Usyk never wanting to step into the ring with him again. "I'm going to come back and I'm going to win it," Fury confidently declared. For him, the rematch is not about seeking revenge, it's about dominance and adding another chapter to his legacy. While Fury's confidence in a rematch with Usyk is evident, his reflections on the loss reveal a more introspective side. He admitted that, in the immediate aftermath of the fight, he was frustrated by the decision, but quickly emphasized his resolve to continue fighting. His frustration at the judge's decision, which he believed didn't capture the true nature of the fight, was clear, but he quickly moved past it with his usual optimism. "This is revenge, or is it just putting things right? It's not that. It's just me smashing his face on Saturday night. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less," he stated, reflecting his determination to focus on the task at hand rather than dwelling on what was in the past. Despite the loss, Fury emphasized that it didn't affect him in any substantial way. He stated that he was going to take some time off, spend Christmas with his family, and reflect on the fight. Even though he had come home with 2 losses on his record, Fury made it clear that there was nothing more to be done about it, and he wasn't letting the result diminish his spirits. This mentality is characteristic of Fury's resilient and often larger-than-life personality. He is the kind of fighter who, even in defeat, can still find a silver lining and look forward to the next challenge. Reflecting on the match itself, Fury expressed that he felt he had performed well and believed he had won at least 4 rounds after the 5th. "I thought I won the fight again," he stated, adding that figures like Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya had also scored the fight in his favor. This highlights the subjectivity in boxing scoring, where opinions can vary dramatically based on individual perceptions of who controlled the action in each round. Fury's belief that he was the better fighter on the night underscores his strong sense of self-belief and conviction in his abilities. An interesting element of the interview was Fury's thoughts on his weight and conditioning for the fight. While many had speculated that Fury's additional weight could have impacted his performance, Fury confidently dismissed such concerns. He stated that he felt great throughout the fight and maintained a good pace for all 12 rounds, demonstrating his physical preparation and self-assurance. His confidence in his conditioning is a reminder of how much Fury has come to trust his body and his ability to perform at the highest level. During the interview, the topic of AI judges also came up, which piqued Fury's interest. He admitted he didn't know how the AI had scored the fight, but humorously expressed his preference for human judges. "More job for humans, fewer for computers," he quipped, showing his traditionalist view on boxing and his belief in the human element of the sport. This light-hearted remark offered a glimpse into Fury's personality, as he balanced the seriousness of the situation with his natural wit. Looking ahead, Fury's plans were clear. He was going to take some time off to rest and recharge, but he wasn't stepping away from the sport for good. He spoke about the possibility of a rematch with Usyk, but also left the door open for discussions next year. What's next for me? I'm going home having some time off for sure, going to see the fight again. You might do, you might not do, who knows? We'll talk about that next year, Fury said, suggesting that he was in no rush to make decisions and would take the necessary time to reflect before diving into his next fight. One of the more interesting topics that came up was Fury's comparison of his current state to his previous fight. He spoke about being in the best shape of his career and determined to come back stronger. "I was 40% last time, but I'm 110% this time," he boldly proclaimed. This statement highlighted his confidence in his preparation and his belief that, with more time and focus, he would be a much more formidable opponent in any future rematch with Usyk. His drive to improve and his self-awareness of where he could have done better show his commitment to continuously evolving as a fighter. Meanwhile, promoter Eddie Hearn, who has been deeply involved in many of the top fights in the heavyweight division, expressed mixed feelings about the outcome of the Fury-Usyk fight. On the one hand, Hearn was drawn to Fury's charisma and impressive past performances, but from a more analytical perspective, he leaned toward Usyk, citing the Ukrainian's ability to adapt and make adjustments during the fight. "Usyk becomes even more formidable with extra preparation time," Hearn explained. This insight sheds light on how Usyk's adaptability makes him such a dangerous fighter, and Hearn's viewpoint adds another layer of complexity to the rivalry between him and Fury. Hearn's comments suggest that while Fury is a formidable force, Usyk's ability to improve with time makes him an even tougher opponent, especially if there is a longer preparation period between fights. Former undisputed heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis also weighed in on the fight, offering his own analysis of the bout. Lewis felt the fight was close, but he preferred their first encounter, believing that Fury could have employed a more aggressive game plan to change the outcome. He pointed to the 10th round, where Fury showed some of his best inside work. But overall, Lewis felt that Fury didn't apply enough consistent offensive pressure. His comments, like Hearn's, emphasized the need for Fury to be more proactive in future matchups, especially against fighters like Usyk, who can adapt quickly. Lewis also addressed the potential for a future fight between Fury and Anthony Joshua, a matchup that remains one of the most talked about in the UK. Lewis acknowledged that the fight is still a major draw, but refrained from making any predictions about who would come out on top, citing the unpredictable nature of boxing styles. "Styles make fights," he said, reflecting the complexity of matchups and the variables that make boxing such a fascinating sport. Another fighter who commented on the Fury-Usyk rematch was Francis Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champion. Ngannou praised both fighters for their incredible performances, but noted that Fury needed to be more aggressive and assertive in his approach. He emphasized that Fury had gathered valuable data from their first fight and needed to use it to his advantage. Ngannou's comments also highlighted Usyk's slick boxing style and how difficult it is to counter. He hoped that Fury would be more prepared and press the action more in a potential future fight, underscoring the need for Fury to adapt and bring a more aggressive strategy to the table. As the dust settles on this rematch, the future remains uncertain for both Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Despite his loss, Fury's confidence remains unwavering, and his commitment to returning stronger and more prepared is clear. With talks of a trilogy fight and continued discussions about his future in the sport, Fury's journey is far from over. Whether he faces Usyk again or takes on a new challenge, one thing is certain: Tyson Fury's career is not winding down anytime soon. The heavyweight division remains as exciting as ever, and the next chapter in this saga will surely keep fans on the edge of their seats.